13 hidden Dodge muscle cars that dominated the drag strip. What if I told you that the Dodge muscle cars you've been idolizing all these years aren't even the most incredible ones they built? The legendary Chargers and Challengers that dominate your Instagram feed? They're just the beginning of an untold story that's been buried under decades of tire smoke and forgotten glory. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Dodge's hidden legacy. 13 jaw-dropping muscle machines, so rare and so powerful that many drag racers still speak about them in hushed, reverent tones. These aren't just cars. They're the secret weapons that Dodge unleashed to absolutely terrorize drag strips across America, and then mysteriously let fade into obscurity. Buckle up. What you're about to discover will change everything you thought you knew about Dodge muscle. Number 1. 1968 Dodge Dart GTS 383. Picture this. It's 1968. You pull up to the strip in your brand new Camaro, feeling confident, until this unassuming little Dart pulls alongside you. The light goes green, and suddenly you're staring at taillights, wondering what the hell just happened. That's a 1968 Dart GTS 383. While everyone was obsessing over Chargers, this 3,200-pound compact, with its 300 horsepower 383, was making fools out of guys who spent thousands more on their muscle cars. Owners called it the giant killer, and for good reason. With a 4-speed and the right gearing, these affordable A-bodies weren't just quick, they were embarrassingly quick for anyone who underestimated them. Number 2. 1969 Dodge Super Bee A12. When a 69 Super Bee A12 rolled up to the starting line, experienced racers felt a cold chill run down their spines. That sinister matte black liftoff hood wasn't just for show. It was the calling card of what might be the most purpose-built factory drag car Dodge ever unleashed on the streets. Underneath lurked the ruthlessly underrated 446-pack, routing power through a heavy-duty suspension and a Dana 60 rear with 4.10 gears. Dodge only built about 1,000 of these street-legal monsters, but every single one was capable of ripping off 13.3-second quarter miles bone stock. And with just headers and slicks, these blue-collar heroes were dipping into the 11s, performance that would humiliate muscle cars, costing twice as much. For the few who knew, the A12 wasn't just another Super Bee. It was Dodge's declaration of war on the drag strip. Number 3. 1970 Dodge Coronet R/T Hemi. In 1970, if you wanted Hemi power but had the wisdom to value substance over style, the Coronet R/T was your secret weapon. While the flashy Charger got all the magazine covers and movie roles, the more conservative-looking Coronet R/T Hemi was quietly dominating drag strips across America. With its lighter body and the same legendary 426 Hemi heart, the Coronet was actually the quicker car off the line. High 13 stock, dipping into the 12s with just headers and slicks. But here's the kicker. Dodge built fewer than 200 Hemi Coronets in 1970. Let that sink in. 200. Today, you've got a better chance of seeing Bigfoot than witnessing one of these rare beasts in the wild. Number 4. 1967 Dodge Coronet W23. In 1967, if you knew the right people at Dodge and had racing in your blood, you could order something known only by its cryptic factory code, W23. What arrived wasn't just a car. It was a statement of deadly serious intent. No heater, no radio, thin Corning glass, lightweight seats, and the crown jewel, the brutal 426 Hemi. Dodge built just 55 of these factory race cars. 55. Each one capable of mid-12-second quarter miles with minimal tuning. These weren't built for cruising. They weren't built for showing off. They were built for one thing only, to absolutely dominate super stock drag racing. And dominate they did. The W23 Coronets represent a time when winning was everything, and Dodge would stop at nothing to cross the finish line first. Number 5. 1962 Dodge Dart 413 Max Wedge. Wait, 1962? Before the GTO? Before the whole muscle car era kicked off? Hell yes. While other manufacturers were still figuring out what a performance car even was, Dodge was already building factory drag monsters like this unassuming Dart packing the earth-shaking 413 Max Wedge. Picture this absolute madness. Cross-ram intake towering above the engine bay, dual 4-barrel carburetors gulping air, and a compression ratio so high it's almost comical, 13.5 to 1. In an era of 12-second muscle cars, this thing was running low 12s. In 1962, with its optional aluminum front end components and that screaming Max Wedge engine producing 420 horses, this was Dodge telling the world, we're not waiting for the muscle car era. We're starting it. Number 6. 1971 Dodge Demon 340. By 1971, insurance companies and emissions regulations were choking the life out of muscle cars. Big blocks were dying. Compression ratios were plummeting. The party seemed over. And then, like a middle finger to the establishment, Dodge unleashed the Demon 340. No, it didn't have a big block. It didn't need one. This 3,100-pound compact, with its high-winding 340 small block, could run mid-14 stock and 13ths with the lightest of modifications. But here's what the specs don't tell you. The Demon 340 wasn't just quick in a straight line. This was one of the best-handling muscle cars ever built. A perfectly balanced package that could dance through corners while its big-block competitors wallowed like boats. The Demon 340 wasn't the end of the muscle car era. It was Dodge showing us a new, more sophisticated way forward. One where agility mattered as much as raw power. Number 7. 1969 Dodge Charger 500. Before the wing. Before the nose cone. Before the Daytona became a legend. There was this, the Charger 500. It might not look radical to modern eyes, but in 1969, this flush-mounted grille and backlight were revolutionary. The first shot in the Aero Wars that would change NASCAR forever. Dodge built just 392 of these special Chargers, available with either the 440 Magnum or the earth-shaking 426 Hemi. Though designed for high-speed ovals, on a drag strip, a Hemi 500 could rip off high 13-second passes all day long. The Charger 500 lived in the shadow of its winged Daytona sibling. But ask any true Mopar historian, and they'll tell you, this was the thinking man's muscle Dodge, the perfect balance of aerodynamics and understated aggression. Number 8. 1970 Dodge Challenger T/A. Not every legendary Dodge needed a Hemi or a 440. Sometimes, the wildest ones came in smaller packages. The 1970 Challenger T/A was Dodge's middle finger to convention, a purpose-built Trans Am racer for the street with an attitude bigger than its engine. Think about how outrageous this thing was. Fiberglass hood with a functional scoop, side exit exhaust that literally roared beneath your feet, and the unique 346 pack, a small block breathing through 3 2-barrel carburetors. Only 2,399 lucky souls ever got their hands on one, each capable of mid-14 second quarter stock in 13ths with just minor tweaks. The T/A wasn't just a car. It was a declaration that Dodge performance wasn't only about raw horsepower. It was about creating mechanical art that engaged all your senses at once. Number 9. 1968 Dodge Hemi Dart. There are factory race cars, and then there's this. The 1968 Hemi Dart isn't just rare, it's mythical. Imagine Dodge taking 80 basic darts, shipping them to Hearst Performance, and saying, make these the most terrifying quarter-mile weapons the world has ever seen. The result was automotive insanity. Fiberglass fenders, doors, hood, and bumpers. Paper-thin windows. No sound deadening. No warranty. And, stuffed under that hood, the most feared engine in drag racing, the 426 Hemi. At just 2,800 pounds with 425-plus horsepower, these were 10-second cars in the right hands. In 1968, with a factory VIN, when Dodge delivered these cars, they came with a disclaimer stating they were for supervised acceleration trials only. That's corporate speak for, this isn't a car, it's a missile with a steering wheel. Number 10. 1964 Dodge 330 Hemi. In 1964, if you knew the right code to whisper to your Dodge dealer, you could drive home in what looked like your grandfather's sedan, but hid a secret that would change drag racing forever. The Dodge 332-door sedan with the freshly minted 426 Hemi was the original sleeper, an unassuming family car packing NASCAR-bred power that could destroy virtually anything else on the street. Imagine the looks on people's faces when this plain Jane box lunged forward and clicked off low 13-second quarter miles. This wasn't just a fast car. It was the birth of the Hemi legend in a package so understated it was almost criminal. These rare first-year Hemi cars weren't built to impress the neighbors. They were built to humble Chevys and Fords with ruthless efficiency. Form followed function in its purest form. Number 11. 1965 Dodge Coronet A990. In 1965, winning wasn't just important to Dodge, it was everything. The A990 Coronet is what happens when a manufacturer decides that drag racing glory is worth any cost. This wasn't just a fast Coronet, it was automotive warfare. Acid-dipped body panels to save weight, aluminum front and components, A/100 van seats, and the piece de resistance, a race-prepped 426 Hemi with aluminum heads. At just 3,200 pounds, these purpose-built factory racers could blast through the quarter mile in 11 seconds flat. In 1965, Dodge built only a few dozen A990 Coronets, each one a rolling testament to an era when corporate America would build the most extreme vehicles imaginable, just to claim those precious seconds of glory at the drag strip. Number 12. 1972 Dodge Charger 440. By 1972, most manufacturers had surrendered. Emissions regulations and insurance rates had strangled the muscle car market. The dream was dying, but someone forgot to tell Dodge. While others were installing smog pumps and slashing compression ratios to pathetic levels, Dodge was still stuffing the mighty 440 V8 under the hood of the Charger. Sure, it was down to 280 horsepower from its glory days, but in an era when a performance car might have 175 horses, the 72 Charger 440 was holding the line, still capable of mid-14-second quarter miles in a time of malaise. These last-of-the-breed Chargers weren't just cars. They were a statement that Dodge refused to go quietly into the night, keeping the muscle car flame burning when others had long since extinguished theirs. Number 13. 1969 Dodge Polara 440. Imagine pulling up to a stoplight in what looks like your dad's business sedan. The guy next to you, in his GTO, revs his engine, probably feeling sorry for you. 3 seconds after the light turns green, he's staring at your taillights, completely bewildered. That's the Polara 440 experience. Dodge's luxury yacht packed the same 375 horsepower 440 Magnum as its muscle car siblings, but wrapped it in an executive suit. You could even get it with a 4-speed manual and performance rear end for those business meetings that happen to take place near the local drag strip. Despite its massive size and luxury pretensions, a well-set-up Polara 440 could run low 14ths all day long, quick enough to humble many purpose-built muscle cars. The Polara 440 wasn't just a sleeper. It was proof that Dodge's performance DNA ran through their entire lineup, bringing joy to the few enlightened souls who chose substance over flash.